Goulet night, early morning, for all you night owls that are up right now. This is me, Abe Cias, here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters, going live early in the morning. For those who follow me on here on Facebook, those who follow my Spiritual Encrypted Encounters YouTube channel and my short reels. I hope everybody is doing great this evening. How you doing, Sister Nelly? I want to share a story with y'all this evening. Before I continue, I just want to say that sometimes when I speak, I sense things around me spiritually. When I maintain my love foundation to the fullest, the good things that I speak come out through me, because I'm just allowing a love foundation to enter my foundation. But sometimes when there's other things around that are infiltrated spiritually, they try to come in and interrupt my concentration on what I'm trying to say, and they can infiltrate in that manner, which I believe it happens to many of us, where we're trying to mean something and it comes out a different way. But that's what these unseen forces that are around us do, because they want people to be divided. They want chaos. They don't want no unity, and for sure they don't want nobody to be at peace with the love foundation with one another, and that's what they do. I noticed that a lot, so that's why I'm making this video, also to apologize to anybody if in my videos that I place, that's when I place my videos on my group is because of what's going on happening. But if I do offend anybody, I don't mean to offend anybody in any kind of way, shape, or form. I just place some material that comes to me and save it and just put it on there. I don't mean to offend, like I said, anybody in any kind of way, shape, or form. But I noticed that when something enters your aura or your personal space, it can affect your train of thought, how you speak, because it's happened to me. So in saying that, I just want to apologize to anybody that if they feel that I've ever offended them in any kind of way, shape, or form. I'm sorry. It just happens that way sometimes, and I don't mean to do anything like that. I'm just letting you know that I have nothing against anybody. I'm trying my best, as we are not perfect. I'm trying my best to maintain my love foundation. I just wanted to put that out there for anybody that's listening, just to say that I'm sorry. If I rather have friends than enemies, and I know right now, because of the works that I do spiritually, as I try to help out people spiritually, there's other people that work on the other side of the balance, and they don't want me to bring unity. They don't want me to bring a love foundation into the cryptic community, and some of them are infiltrating within the cryptic community because they dwell in other things, they believe in other things, they worship in other things. But as I've been fighting spiritually all my life, that's what I do. This works. My channel is not a big channel. I'm not trying to compete against anybody in any kind of way, shape, or form. I just do this to help out the few that are willing to listen to what I have to say. This is why I do this works. I'm a disabled vet. I still manage to work out even though I have some conditions. I still manage to do more workouts because there's something that's within me that I work out daily. It's still bestowed upon me. So long I can still do it, I'm going to continue to do the workouts that I do. But I'm just letting you know I don't have nothing against anybody. I've seen so much. anger, hatred. I've seen people lose lives. Uh, I know what it feels to be in a situation where a family is being bonded by demonic forces, because I've experienced that. I've witnessed it. I've been through it. So I know how that could be. You know, when I see people that I know that they're being infiltrated, that the unseen forces are there bonding their families, I try to help out spiritually. And sometimes these forces that are bonding the people, they do not want to let loose. They don't want to lose the grasp that they have over the people. So that's why I wanted to talk to y'all about this story. It's a true story that happened. This is something that I feel that affects a lot of families, and it's happening right now because I see it. I see it where it's affecting individuals, and it's like this forces that are around us. So long the people are not believing in Jesus Christ and they're in the wrong, they ain't gonna mess with them. It's when the person wants to set themselves free from the how should I say, the bondage. It's when they make an aggressive spiritual move upon the individuals, because they don't want to let them loose, right, from the graft that already has. They don't want them to awaken spiritually. So this is what I'm going to make. I'm going to speak about the story. It's something that happened in like around 78, 79. 1978, 1979. And I call it the possession of the family, of a family. I'm going to start it already. My parents, they used to be in a prayer group, right, in which it was like 10 people or 12 people within the prayer group and a priest from the Catholic Church. And they would go to homes that were being, you could say, infiltrated, spiritually infiltrated, where people were being targeted, people were being, you could say, spiritually attacked, spiritually possessed. They got a phone call one day about a woman that supposedly was possessed. That had already been. This is from my hometown. This happened in my hometown in Raymondville, Texas. They said that these people were migrant workers. They would go work up north in Lubbock. They said when they got back from up north working in Lubbock, that the woman had gotten possessed, and not just the woman, but the rest of the family started getting spiritually attacked and spiritually afflicted also, in which the unclean spirit that had the mother possessed was jumping from person to person of the family members, which was the children. So there had already been several priests and preachers that came from everywhere, from all throughout Texas, to try to get rid of this woman that was possessed, supposedly possessed by the devil. Many had gone and nobody could get rid of what was within her. They had her possessed. They kept her in her room where she was being possessed. So my parents got a call from the prayer group that they were going to go free this woman from being possessed. So they gather up the crucifix, their Bibles, and their holy water, and they all went. And these people that lived in the outskirts of town in a ranch. The reason I'm saying this story is because I remember what happened when they came back. When they came back, my mother came back, my dad came back from that location. They seemed shocked. They seemed scared. They seemed uneasy, like something was wrong, something wasn't right. But this is what I was a kid that always paid attention. Back then they had the phones on the wall, so I remember my mom having a conversation over the phone where they said that when they got there, that they gathered within the group, they grabbed their hands, they started praying for the woman that was possessed. They said that the room got very cold. You could say like below zero, freezing cold. That when it got below zero, like freezing cold, that the woman, she was a woman that was like probably in her 30s, possibly yet in her 30s, that the woman changed form. She went from a 30-year-old woman to an old lady. And she looked at the people that were praying, trying to get rid of the unclean spirit, right? She looked at them and spoke in a man's voice, and said that it was Lucifer, that her soul belonged to him. That's what he said. So one of the members, or a couple of the members that were holding the circle, holding hands through the prayer, took off running. They got scared. They ran out of there. So that's one of the things that you're not supposed to do if you're fighting a spiritual war. Fear is a spiritual opening. So they took off running. Then everybody else that stayed behind, they started freaking out because, it was saying it was Lucifer, that her soul belonged to it. So they left also. As they left, everybody went to their homes. It's kind of like they did not get rid of the possession that was amongst her, And what was weird about this, brothers and sisters, is certain things started happening that I remember from some of their family members, which was the sons. The sons that woman had, they were around my age. I think they were both older than me, like 1 year older. So we were right the same bus, We were from the west side, and they would come from. We were right the same bus, and I remember what they had, like green eyes, and one of the sons will get behind me in the back seat, and he will whisper in my ear, and he would say, "Believe in the devil." That's what he would tell me in my ear. I could be in school, just standing in the place where we're standing in the hallway. He'll come up to me and stand right beside me, and he will tell me, "Believe in the devil." But I believe because he was being spiritually bonded because of the mom being possessed. So that happened for a while, all throughout the school year. This guy kept on following me around. The brothers, there was 2 brothers and there were sisters, and they kept on telling me, every chance they got, they would say, "Believe in the devil," and I would just tell them to leave me alone, that I believe in Jesus Christ. But I didn't know at that time that was a family, right? That my parents had gone with a prayer group to pray. So we went back up north, where we worked, and something happened up there. This is to a guy that I knew. His name was Ricardo Guzman. Ricky or Ricardo Guzman. His parents were part of the prayer group that my father and mother were involved in. Their parents were the ones that took off running as they were holding the circle in prayer. They got scared and took off running. Well, something happened over there during the summer. What we all had in common is that those individuals that would go work up in Lubbock, Texas area, we used to go work up there as migrant workers, and the people that the mother was possessed, they would go work up there. during the summers. Well, what happened was they had left to go to a store. When they came back to the ranch, which was the mother and the father had taken off, the woman that was possessed, when they came back to the house, the guy that I knew as Ricardo Guzman was disembodied. I'm talking about disembodied, body parts everywhere. There was traces of blood everywhere, satanic symbols on the walls, the star, all that was everywhere. He was literally disembodied. And he died at the young age of 17, I believe. 17 years old. He was like a year or 2 years older than me, so I'll say 17. And they couldn't figure out the crime of who caused that. But you see, the family that was possessed, they were out there. And I know that the sons knew him. So right off the bat, the first thought that I thought about was it had to be the family that the mom was being possessed. The only thing I can tell you is this, brothers and sisters, that all the people that were involved in the prayer group lost somebody. I lost somebody that was part of the prayer group, which was my mother. When we came back from what happened to the to Ricardo, I lost my mother tragically. The day that I was out there looking for her, because they said they couldn't find her, and I was by this bridge, I remember incidents that happened where something stood up and it was looking at me, had red eyes, looked like the Hat Man, you know. Do you want to say it was Lucifer? All I know, I witnessed that, and I witnessed another thing, that there was a ranch to the right, that the lights were flickering, and you could hear a lot of people laughing, which was, I guess, that ranch where the lights were flickering on and off, that I witnessed, was the same people where my parents did the prayer group for the woman that was possessed. So I had something that looked like Jack the Ripper with red eyes, or the Hat Man, whatever you want to call him, chasing me into town, was gliding in the air, and it turned into some sort of hellhound with red eyes. You know, we had an irrigation system around the home. Around our town. There's water that goes around the town because that's what we use to irrigate the fields. It did not follow into town because it stopped because of the water that was running through the irrigation system. So what happened from that time frame of where they lost a loved one, I lost a loved one, and other people within the prayer group lost loved ones, and it's because they were part of that, you could say, exorcism, right? You want to call it, if the woman was possessed, it had to be a form of an exorcism or prayer, which is exorcism, especially if there was a priest involved. As time went by, you know, I never got answers of a lot of things. But in 2000 I say like around 2012, I talked to this gentleman, and he told me that he knew what happened. He knew why the woman was possessed. He said that the husband was his best friend, and that they were drinking up there in Lubbock, Texas, at this lake called Devil's Lake. So as I was getting drunk, drinking, that the man, which was, their last name was watched it last. I can't remember it right now on top of my head. But the man had told him that he did not believe in God. He did not believe in Jesus Christ, and that he didn't believe in the devil. That's what he said. He called upon God and Jesus Christ, and he told them to appear, to show his presence. And he was drinking beer, and nothing happened, right? Normally when you have to do something like that, it's got to be out of true faith. But he's already saying he don't believe. And then he called upon the devil, and he said for it to appear, and nothing happened. So he said that neither one existed. But when they went back home, his wife got possessed by Lucifer, by the devil, and it was jumping from family member to family member, causing all chaos and havoc. There was a lot of fighting. People were stabbing each other and all kinds of things. That the people from the town, which was, my parents, they're trying to help them out, free them from the bondage. But this man told me that he knew what happened, and that's what he did at that lake, in which he left the opening. Since he didn't believe in God, they believe in Lucifer. Lucifer seen as a spiritual opening and bonded the whole family. That's why I'm calling it the family was possessed, and it was jumping from person to person. I've witnessed when somebody's being possessed, and where the demons are running wild and causing chaos and havoc. People are acting strange. People are talking different languages. I've witnessed it, and it's not a good thing to see, especially if you don't know how to fight it spiritually. It's out of character, and the things that are coming out of the mouth is blasphemous. Like I said, talking different languages, and if you don't have the spiritual wisdom and knowledge to tie, bind, and rebuke it in Jesus Christ's name, in true faith. That's why it's important to have true faith, true belief in Jesus Christ. You cannot be doing this kind of works if you have faults or you're on the wrong path, living in sin, doing things that are against God. Living in sin, like, for example, cheating on your husband or cheating on your wife. Things like that, in that nature, because the unseen forces, they'll see that spiritual opening and they'll attack. And I believe that's why that family had gotten possessed in that nature. So after the man told me what he told me, it made sense of all the things that were happening. But the bigger question is how come he didn't say anything sooner, right? How come he didn't say anything sooner to people about what the real deal was behind all that? The only thing I told them is like, well, we can't do nothing to change the past, but I can change the present. That's why I told him that I chose Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and I'm gonna fight spiritually for not just myself, for my next of kin, but those that were in my past that have been spiritually afflicted in some kind of way, shape, or form. Because I lost a loved one in that nature, through chaos and havoc, where there's division. And if it can bond the head of the household, then it could take domain or everybody else within the head of the household. So that's very important for people to have understanding, the wisdom and knowledge that we all have the ability to fight something of that nature spiritually by taking a spiritual stance, because we are unique and we have our own soul. So we do have the right to stand up for a foundation that might be infiltrated and fight spiritually through a love foundation. I've never found out whatever happened to the woman or to those family members. All I know is some of them went to prison because they wound up killing somebody down there, or killing like 1 or 2 people, I believe, and they went up in prison. The boys that they kept on telling me to believe in the devil, they went up in prison for killing somebody. I've always wanted to go back to that area just to finish what couldn't be finished. If these people were still still being spiritually targeted or bonded in some kind of way, that I would want to help. But I haven't gone back to South Texas in a very long time. It's hot and heavy down there, brothers and sisters, but a lot of those family members got spiritually attacked, where the unseen forces were jumping from one person to another. It made the news. I think it might have made national news, I believe, back then, because everybody was talking about it. You know, where there was a woman that was possessed by the devil, and that happened down in my town of Raymondville, Texas, when I was a kid. But I wanted to share this story with y'all tonight. For his, how you doing, Brother Larry Fisher? See, that's why I talk about always maintaining Love Foundation. I talk for it for a reason. I just don't say it to say it. I just don't talk about it. I practice it daily. Because we don't know when we're going to be tested. We don't know when we're going to be tested. So we have to prepare daily. We have to prepare daily. As you see, I'm awake at night. It's because that's when I've always been like a night person. When I would do a lot of night jobs before I even joined the military, and this is a time that I'm awake. You know, not unless I'm real sleepy, I'll go to sleep, but I'm not sleepy at all. You know, I sleep during the day. I just wanted to share this story with y'all, brothers and sisters. It's a true story that happened. I'm trying to remember those people's last names, but I just cannot remember it on top of my head. So basically what I'm saying is, be careful what you say, especially for those that don't have faith in Jesus Christ. Just like that man, you know, that he said he didn't believe in God or Jesus, and he didn't believe in the devil. He literally challenged them to appear to them, to share their presence. God didn't show his presence. Of course he's not going to show his presence. He has no faith and believe in him. But what's there? What's there when you don't have faith or belief? The unseen. Lucifer and his and his minions, they're there. And that's what happened to that family. The opening was there for the unseen to go in there into their house, possess the head of the household, and affect the whole family. This is just a story for tonight that I wanted to share. That's why I call it the family possession. And like I said, till this day, okay, I remember the last names. Their last names were Elizondo, Elizondo, Elizondo. That was their last name, the Elizondos. Like I said, I lost a family member because they tried to go over there and help out spiritually. But that's one thing you didn't do, brothers and sisters. When I talk about not to have fear, you're not supposed to have fear because it's a spiritual opening. You got to be on the right path. When you go into a space or an area where there could be activity, you have to be in the right path. You have to be spiritual ready at all times. When I go to the wood line, I know when it's the right time to go because I'm letting on spiritually. But even like that, something could happen. Something could happen because they come in numbers. They come in numbers. They come in many. So I really have to maintain my love foundation as the best that I can. And that's one thing that I noticed this past year or year and a half, where people were coming at me in a negative way, being trolled and coming in a negative way to see if I'm going to falter or to see if I'm going to leave a spiritual opening for myself, because when you anger, that's going against God. When you threaten somebody, you want to do something that's going against God, because that's part of anger. But for those who dwell in negativity, that's how they fight. For those who are part of the negativity or the unseen, that's how they fight. They try to see if you're going to have a spiritual opening. Anger is one of them. Fighting, going back and forth, that's a spiritual opening, where when you're going back and forth with negativity, the things that are going back and forth is the unseen. The unseen is going back and forth, causing all this chaos and havoc, because it's trying to affect people, whether it gets some people sick, whether it gets somebody very ill. That's how they attack. No difference. And you've heard of all the people within the cryptic community and other groups that passed away from investigations and stuff like that they've gone somewhere, they come back, they're not the same, because they wasn't spiritual ready. They're entering places where other things lurk, and they wasn't ready to go into those areas spiritually, and they get spiritually about it or spiritually attacked, in which it causes them to be ill and at times to pass away. There's unseen forces, that's how they work. If they see that you're trying to change your ways and they still got a grasp over you, they're going to try to take you out, because to them it's about, they dislike us, they dislike mankind, because we're created under God's image. So there's been many people that have been taken out by these unseen forces. I've gotten spiritually attacked numerous times throughout the years, but I'm still here talking about it. How you doing, Sister Dawn? I'm still here talking about it and fighting the good fight. Sister Dawn, the only thing I can say is this: maintain a love foundation. Don't listen to too much to what people say to you that's going to anger you, because that could be a spiritual opening. Maintain your love foundation and stay focused on what you want to do, and deflect any negativity that comes your way. Don't allow it here. That's what I do. I do this at a daily basis. Sometimes in life, people know who you are because of the works that you do. But there's sometimes people that come and they try to paint you to be a certain way, and they do it intentionally to spite you, because that dislike the works that you do. This is nothing new for me. This has been like this all my life. People that dislike me because how I am spiritually, because I believe in Jesus Christ, because I like helping out people free themselves from bondage, from generational curses, trying to enlighten people that they are somebody, that they are important, that if they have any kind of anger, vengeance, to let it go, ask to forgive those individuals and ask God for forgiveness, that there are greater gifts that you get blessed with when you forgive, which are called the spiritual gift of discernment. Like I said before, sometimes I set away from people that, for example, people that have come up against me for this past year and a half, to me, personally, a person is not going to change who they are in one day. If they bought nothing but BS my way for a whole year and a half, they are not going to change their way. They haven't changed their way, but I forgive them because I have to forgive them. But at the same time, I stay away from those individuals because I know their true nature. So I stay away from them. I can make my videos and talk about why I do that, but I stay away because they've shown themselves to me of what they're about. So I just stay distant away from them. They don't want to awaken spiritually, and they're going to continue to be bonded till the day that they do change their ways. There's a lot of people within the crypto community that are like that. They think that they're in a high echelon than everybody else, but it's not true, because that's not how God sees us. God sees us equal. But it's about the works that you do. I like to do positive things that bring, how should I say, positive things of goodness to change people's lives in a positive way. Those are my works. That's why I created Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. I was debating whether to leave cryptid on there, but that's a form that the demonic beings take. That manifest into different things in that nature. So for right now, I'm going to leave it there till I decide if I want to change the name to something else, that I might change cryptid to something else. I just don't know yet. I just want to say to anybody that has trolled me, says something negative about me, that dislikes me, that sends people my way to come and post their videos on my Spiritual Encrypted Encounters group chats. I know who you are already. I know what you're about. If I'm not placing your material, your videos, or anything about you in my Spiritual Encrypted Encounters group, is because you've shown me throughout the time that I've been within the crypto community of what you're really about. I know your true nature. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of your acquaintances, because I place Jesus Christ first. And I'm talking about the person that does the voodoo. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not afraid of what you practice, because Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, and He protects me. As He protects me, He's also my avenger. So I don't have to worry about whatever you dabble in. I'm not worried about what gang affiliations you're affiliated to, the people you send my way, trying to tell me to go my separate ways from the people that I know. to leave it alone, or else what? Or else what? I mean, the way I see it, if you have to send people to fight your fights, then what are you? Right? You're not a man at all. That's how I see it as. If you have a problem with me, right? If you have a problem with me, we can talk about it. You can tell me what your problem is with me, and I can talk to you like a man. You know, I say, well, and I'll tell you my perspective of what I think about it. But I'm not afraid of what you're about. I'm not afraid of who you're affiliated with, because I know a lot of people too. I'm a combat veteran, and my brother in my arms are all around me here in Central Texas. So I can match whatever you try to throw my way. I can match it, and I'll do it with the Love Foundation, because I know what you're about, and what you try to do, what you worship, how you come at people, because being the spiritual aspect out of things, and I'm saying true stories. True stories. I'm not reading off a computer. I'm not reading off a paper. These are true events that have really happened. That's why I'm speaking them to you. I'm speaking of everything that I speak comes from within me, and it's true stories. It's things that I've experienced and witnessed. There's a lot of people that tell me, I say, how do you have a good memory about these things? It's because when it happens to you, you remember. You don't have to say, hey, can I look at my notes? And I think I might have said something wrong. Let me look at my notes. No, if you experience something, you don't have to look at no notes, because you're gonna remember like it was that day. It's like first in nature. You remember. You remember of what you went through. That's why I make these videos. So one day, as I get older, I start forgetting things. Well, the video's already up of my testimony, of my stories, of what I've experienced, what I've witnessed, when I did have the right mind capability of saying it. I think that's the difference between me and a lot of people that are out there. That I'm straight up, I'm just a straight up kind of guy. I'm not gonna try to beef up anything in any kind of way. If people want to know about the activity, because I'm just telling you a story. But there's other things that happen within that story, which is like the activity that happens also. But I can say that for another time. I just shared the story. What do you think is going to happen when families being bonded by something like that? There's going to be a lot of activity, because it follows, right? Stays bonded. It jumps from one person to another. So there's a lot of spiritual activity that's involved that happens. That's why I remember what I remember, and that's why I say what I say. The advice I give people about maintaining the Love Foundation, because it's very important. The Love Foundation is what protects us from the unseen forces to spiritually attack us. They dislike the Love Foundation. That's why it's very important to have it daily. When you read a comment, don't look too much into what's being said. Or somebody says something a certain way, don't look too much into it, because it affects who you are as an individual, what you believe in, or you think somebody's throwing shade at you in some kind of way. Those are spiritual openings when you think that way. When you think that way, and then when you think that you're not doing nothing wrong, you never done nothing wrong. Well, if you're thinking that way, in a sense of a way, you might have an attachment on you, because it's making you think that the wrongs that you do is okay. No, that's why it's important to maintain the love foundation and pray daily. If you feel not yourself, it's always good to say, Heavenly Father, it's always good to say this, brothers and sisters. It's to say, if there's something negative around me, I take authority over you in Jesus Christ's name. I tie, bind, and rebuke you in Jesus Christ's name. You're not allowed me, around me, within me. Leave. You have to take authority over it for it to leave. Because if you keep on thinking that same way, is in a sense of way it's already got you bonded. It has some kind of control over you. You got to remember one thing. It's got to be done through Jesus Christ. It's not a by night thing. It's got to be done through Jesus Christ. He's the one that blesses us. He's the one that gives us spiritual wisdom and knowledge to overcome these unseen forces. But anyways, I don't want to keep you all too late. I know it's kind of late. I would just share this story with y'all. I hope it reaches your heart to make you understand why I always say to always maintain a love foundation no matter the situation. And what I mean no matter the situation, whether it's something physical or something spiritual, you have to maintain the love foundation in order to overcome the threat, the spiritual threat or physical threat. Because that's what they do. That's their capability. That's what they do. But I'm going to continue to do this spiritual works, brothers and sisters, here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters on Facebook, and share my videos to Spiritual Encrypted Encounters on YouTube. I know one day I'll get to where I want to get, but I'm going to continue to do the works that I do for right now. Like I said, I have nothing against nobody. Sometimes when I speak spiritually, good things come, and then sometimes when there's other forces around, it tries to interrupt the message that I'm trying to send to the viewers. In saying that, I want to say God bless every single one of y'all, your families. Do not go to sleep upset. It's not a good thing, because you probably have a bad dream, which is a spiritual opening, and then you're going to wake up mad, which is not a good thing. It's not a good thing for you to go to sleep mad and wake up mad. Forgive, and try your best to maintain the love foundation. We can't leave spiritual openings in that manner against the unseen. In saying that, I hope y'all enjoyed the family possession story of what I spoke of. And everything else that I said is genuine from my heart. Like I said, Sister Dawn knows I've been doing this works for a long time. She's been my admin when I had a positive spiritualist before he got deleted, and then I redid it. Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. She also had her own site called Spirits That Cease to Amaze Me. You know, we met a long time ago when I was going through what I was going through spiritually in Elms Grove, and she was going through certain things herself. So we've been friends for a very long time, for years now. For when I first created Positive Spiritualist, she's my admin in Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. You know, I think she's an admin of The Rise of the Diddy and Disembodied Demonic Nephilim. I just haven't placed nothing there. But sometimes we have to work on ourselves before we place contact or do other things. But anyways, thank y'all for tuning in tonight. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Just remember that Jesus Christ is our Lord and our Savior, and there's nothing that's fallen that can affect the hearts if we don't give it a spiritual opening. We don't allow it. We are chosen ones, children of God, and our destination is to make it into the kingdom of heaven. The way we fight spiritually is through Jesus Christ. Just remember this, brothers and sisters. Everybody have a beautiful, blessed early morning / day. Peace.